In his fifth career start in 1998, Kerry Wood struck out 20 Houston Astros. The sabermetrics guys look at that as maybe the greatest single-game pitching performance in history. Kerry Wood, former baseball pitcher, joining us. Where are you today, Woody?
So actually, right now I'm walking back. It's National Walk Your Kids to School Day. So I'm actually walking back from walking the kids to school just outside of Chicago.
You got your jersey on?
Yeah, I wear my jersey every time I walk the kids to school.
Are you the most famous dad in your kid's school?
Oh, man, I hope so. No, I who knows? There's some pretty famous, no, there's not. Yeah, probably.
When's the last time you had your jersey on?
Last time I had my jersey on, I do fundraising stuff, so sometimes when I do appearances and stuff, they'll throw it on me. But, usually once a week I put it on and play catch with my kid in the backyard.
You should go as yourself. You should go as yourself for Halloween.
Halloween is our family gets after Halloween pretty well, but I definitely am not going to wear my own jersey for Halloween. My wife does that.
What were your expectations this year for this team?
Well, I did some stuff before the season, and my expectations were this team could end up in the postseason or could end up 500, just because of the youngness and the age group and the lack of experience. So I thought, but I think Madden obviously makes a difference in that. And these guys, their approach is the same day in, day out. They are ready to go every single day. I think his phrase he told these guys in spring training was don't let the pressure outseed the pleasure of playing the game, and I think they've taken it to heart. He's a great leader for these guys.
What was it like, though, to play in Chicago when you knew the fans, there was sort of apathy there, that you guys have been labeled the lovable losers, and then you strike magic in the postseason. You guys end up losing, of course, but that going to the game every day, it felt like the fans were there to have fun, and if you guys happened to have a good game or be good that season, then, all right, that was an added bonus.
Yeah, I think that's all changed, and I think new ownership and obviously new management has changed that thought process. I think they came in with the idea this team's going to be a winner, and they're going to build it the right way, and they had to start over from the ground up and revamp the whole minor league system. And I think it's just the mindset that our ownership has put into play, and I just think it's come from the top down, and everyone is feeding off of it. Sure.
But how different was it when you were pitching, and that fan base wasn't expecting a great season by the Cubs?
Yeah, and I feel like the group that I was with kind of changed that as well. We raised the expectations. We got into the postseason in '98 when no one thought we would get there, and we weren't supposed to be there. I'm not sure we thought we were going to get there. Back when I came in, we didn't talk about postseason. We didn't talk about winning the World Series. I don't even think I heard anybody in the organization ever say the word World Series. That has changed as well. These guys talk about it in the off season. They talk about it in spring, and ultimately that's their goal. And it should be. If you're playing this game at this level, you should get ready to go play a full season and get yourself in the postseason with a chance to get to the World Series. And that should be your thought process. And I think that's definitely changed in Chicago. He's
Kerry Wood, the former Cubs pitcher, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Jake Arrieta, you could make the argument, I talked to Rick Sutcliffe about this, that second half of the season is as great as any second half statistically as I've ever seen. What do you think? How would you compare it?
It's amazing. For me, obviously I'm biased, but he's Cy Young for me, but I've seen every one of his starts, and he's just impressive, and he's so consistent, and he knows what he wants to do. He executes his game plan. He's strong as a horse. I feel like he could throw another 200 innings without taking a break. He's just an animal, but he's a smart animal. He's not just to go out there and grunt and see how hard I can throw it and try to blow guys away. He's pitching with obviously plus stuff, and he's doing it with his brain as well. So he's a stud, no doubt.
But how does it happen that he leaves Baltimore and all of a sudden he's a Cy Young candidate here in Chicago?
Yeah, change is good sometimes. And I think his stuff obviously was there. When we got him from Baltimore, his stuff was the same. I think something clicked with him as far as being able to locate his fastball a little more consistently. And everything else kind of fell into place. But his stuff didn't change when he got here. I think just his mental approach and obviously confidence breeds confidence. And I can't imagine there's a more confident pitcher in the major leagues right now than Jake Arrieta.
What do your kids talk to you about when you played? What do they ask you?
Oh, did I ever hit any home runs? Stuff like that. So then I set them down and I break out the videotape and I say, watch this. And then
That's on VHS, isn't it?
Yeah. My oldest is 9, so he started to ask a little more questions, and he remembers being there and being part of it. And my middle daughter remembers. She remembers Cleveland because of the mascot. So, and my son asked a couple of questions about playing with the Yankees. It's always interesting. They ask. My son was 7, I think, at the time, or 6 when he went in there at the time, and in the clubhouse in New York. And his biggest thrill was he thought Derek Jeter sounded like the donkey from Shrek. So he still talks about that.
Jeter sounds like the donkey in Shrek.
Yeah,
I like that. But do you ever look back on like Game 7 in 2003?
Yeah, it's I can't get past the home run. I think that's the last positive moment of the game for me. So I don't look past the home run too often. But Game 7, Game 6 they're tough to think about. They're obviously tough to watch highlights of. But we were there. We didn't get it done, and it wasn't lack of effort. It wasn't lack of anything other than I think they finally got to some pitches, and Pudge and D. Lee finally made the adjustment and took me the other way in big situations, and they won the battle at that time. So great year, great for the city, great for the organization. Obviously, a huge disappointment from our standpoint of not getting it done and getting into the World Series. But
you were going to be the hero. I mean, you homered. I mean, this is what great pitchers do. You shut them down, you hit a home run. I mean, that's what legends are made of.
I thought the same. But it didn't happen for us, and but I feel like that's going to change here soon in the north side, and we'll get a little redemption here.
I mentioned in your 5th start you strike out 20 Astros, and I was thinking about this last night. The expectation level went through the roof after you did that. I was wondering, looking back, what could it have been a bad thing, a negative thing for you that you were so good your 5th start and you're only 20 years of age?
Yeah, it was the best thing I ever did and the worst thing I ever did. Because like you said, obviously it put me on the map and it gave me confidence that I belonged at that level, so it was great for that. Ended up at that time, it was early in the season, but a big win for us. We'd lost a couple in a row, and but bad as far as, like you said, the bar was raised, the expectations were raised. But Jake's dealing with that stuff now. Everybody expects him to go out and he has a chance to throw a no-hitter every time out. I'm sure he feels that way. But he's got a little more experience under his belt. Being so soon and so early, I was so young, I didn't know any better. Thrown in the spotlight, media all over the place, and I was just young enough and dumb enough to just keep going out there and doing my job and didn't get caught up in it. So it wasn't too bad until later, when the injuries started coming. Then it was disappointment and didn't achieve what he was supposed to achieve and wasn't the pitcher he was supposed to be. But when you set the bar like that, no one's going to achieve that. People will still look and say, "Oh, his career was ruined with injuries." I still got 14 plus years in the big leagues and had a pretty decent career, I feel. And I think that game definitely raised the bar, though.
But you would have been treated differently now. You'd be on innings count. I mean, you'd be just like these guys now, Matt Harvey and Strasburg, and you'd probably have an innings count.
I'm not sure I would let my agent tell me that I wasn't supposed to throw a certain amount of pitches, or honestly, even the doctor for that matter. But that's where maybe I'm different. Maybe I should have, and I would have had less injuries. But if I could take the ball and go out and compete, I was going to go. And I didn't always listen to my body, especially early in my career. But and it may have cost me a couple injuries, but I didn't want to be that guy that was in the training room. And turns out later on, I was in the training room probably because of that.
Did you keep anything from that game, the 20 strikeout game?
Yeah, I got my glove and spikes and hat, and actually the hat's in the Hall of Fame and jersey's in the Hall of Fame. But I got the 20 strikeout ball and my hat or my glove and spikes. So I kept all that stuff from the game.
You didn't ask the Astros to sign it, all the guys you struck out, did you?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't want to. No, I didn't. Didn't think that was a good idea.
Hey, it's great to hear from you again, and thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, Dan. Great talking to you.
All right, that's Kerry Wood, former Cubs pitcher.